Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cartoon Season. I'm Tyler, and I'm talking about some cartoons today. Very different, very different. So I'm going to talk about some Kid Cosmic Season 2 today. Season 2, man. After this, only one more. So we're getting there. And so I want to touch on a few things. I want to touch on Joe learning to be a leader, which I think is like the main theme of this season. And then I want to talk about Flo being a good mom / a good person, and how that is kind of hinted at the entire season, kind of as like a attachment to the whole Joe being a good leader, and then how it comes around very big at the end. And then finally some season 3 predictions. Again, I think it's final. I think it's the final season, so we're closing in, and yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and let's just start, you know what I mean? So let's talk about Joe being a good leader, because the first season was kind of more about them getting their powers and learning to be a team and, kind of, struggling but learning. This time, we're a team, we're here, we got our powers, we're good. Now, it's more about let's get better, let's get more consistent, let's get more in tune. And Joe is the key to that because Joe is the leader, right? So she's the one who has to, train them and bring them together and have them learn how to use their powers in a better way and all that stuff. But there are some missteps. Actually, a lot of missteps. She tries to cheat the pyramid. That's a whole thing, right? Like in the beginning, it's like, I gotta do all this work, whatever. But like, we start to see her getting through, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, she's, maybe it's just clever. Maybe it's just like there are clever ways to beat these puzzles, and you get to the end, and boom, you're rewarded. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Unfortunately, we see at the end where you have to actually complete the puzzle the way it was supposed to be completed to get the little like totem thing, which you'll need all the totems at the end to get the power ring or whatever, right? So even right there, she was trying to be clever. She was trying to think outside the box because she didn't want to actually take the time to do the actual puzzle. You know what I mean? And that's tough because it just kind of shows that she doesn't know what it's like to be a leader. She doesn't know how you're supposed to lead a team and you're supposed to set an example, and how sometimes you do have to work hard, which again we'll get into later. But like, Flo was the one that the whole time was like, hey, this ain't how you're supposed to be doing it. You're not supposed to be doing it this way. But Joe was just so impatient, and she's also had a huge problem with like being a good leader and like living up to what everyone expects of her. And so she was just trying to kind of burn through it, but that's not what you're supposed to do. She also listened to her team, or she should have listened to her team and left the party after she sold the stones. That's another thing too, where like your whole team, everyone there, everyone that you have gathered, you trust, all that stuff, is saying like, hey, we got the stones, we should leave, like we won. And that kind of runs into another problem with her and listening to the Queen, Queen John, where she's trying to follow in her footsteps, and that's really not what she should be doing, because the Queen, terrible leader, you realize, where it's like she tried to lead all the other like avatars or whatever, like all the other people that had all the other stones, and she failed. Like everyone died and she barely got out with her life. So I'm not saying that she's a bad leader, but her methods obviously haven't worked up until this point. So the fact that Joe keeps listening to her and keeps like being way too like cold and ruthless, and how that never works, but that's kind of another aspect to the whole like main theme. So again, she should have ignored the Queen and just listened to what her people said, because it ends up ruining them. Like it ends up having them lose the stones. Was it like they lost the stones, they mixed up some of them, and it was the whole nightmare. It was a complete mess. if she just listened to them, and that's another thing about being a leader, is that sometimes you don't have to just tell everyone what to do. Sometimes the team that you have accrued over all this time, sometimes they know what they're talking about, especially when every single person is saying it. And then one of the worst decisions she made, or one of the more like rebel rogue decisions that she made, was when she went to go fight in the fight hole, which was just so like selfish, because she was just trying to prove herself. That I think is her biggest problem, is that this whole time being like, she's trying to prove that she deserves to be a leader, where she doesn't have to prove anything. Just be a leader, just do what you feel is right. But because you're putting yourself, like you're getting out of your, or I guess she's getting in her own way, basically. So again, she does win the fight hole, and she hypes up Crush, which is cool. It's a nice moment, but it doesn't really prove anything. Like, you just won in a fight hole. I guess that's cool, but that doesn't prove anything about being a leader. And then the worst thing that she did the whole season is that she chooses Crush over the team. She decides that Crush is a warrior. She can use Crush. She gives Crush all the stones, and she decides, all right, you guys suck. I can't use you as my team anymore. Me and Crush are gonna take out Erodius, and we're gonna win that way. Which is terrible, because like, even if it was true, which I don't believe it is true, but even if it was true that a team of Crushes is better than the team of everyone else, that's not something you say. Like, I feel like that's very disrespectful to your team, not only to them individually, but also as a whole. Like, you're just abandoning your team. That's not cool. And that also, I feel like, just, it doesn't make you look like a better leader. It makes you look like a worse leader, because you have a team that you're supposed to trust. You rip the trust away from them, and then even so, you're saying that they're not as good. Well, I feel like that's your fault. I feel like that can be stemmed back to you as a leader, where if your team members are not living up to their potential, that's kind of your responsibility to make them. If they haven't reached their ceiling yet, you gotta build a ladder. And then after all this, after all the betrayal, Crush betrays her. Says, oh, she never really cared about her. She, fight holes all she had. I'm gonna take the stones. I'm gonna win. It doesn't end well for Crush. Crush dies. But even that, even Joe, just thinking she made the right decision, and she chooses a traitor over her team, it all crumbles. Every seemingly good thing Joe does this season is undermined by something terrible. And again, it really is, a lot of it stems from the queen, and a lot of it stems from her own insecurities. Again, she shouldn't be trying to prove anything. She should just do, in the end, she does realize that the team is capable, and all they have to do is just do what they're all best at, which does help them destroy Rodius. So again, just like I was saying, stop trying to do something and just do it, and it's not saying that like you're not allowed to fail, don't fail, just succeed. It's more so just like, don't put yourself in a situation purely for the optics. I think that was Joe's problem, was that she was trying to prove something to her team, but she doesn't have to. They already chose her. She's a leader. Now lead. You got the job. Stop interviewing for the job you already have. But yeah, so we'll see, I'll touch on it in a second, but we'll see how that transitions into the third season. But before season 3 stuff, let's also talk about Flo being a good mom and a good person. First, she does have the hottest diner in the galaxy, right? Everyone loves the diner, loves the food, loves the hospitality, loves everything, right? Crazy. Couldn't have guessed. Couldn't have guessed that. Because I remember in the first season I was talking about how, what's going to happen with Flo's diner. She's still going to get business, so she's going to get like alien customers, all that stuff. And now we watch the second season, and it's like, yup, she sure does. Not only does she get customers, but she's like the most sought after diner in everywhere. It's like, this is the place that everyone wants to go. She also tries to do everything the right way, opposite of Queen Jean. Again, like I said, Queen Jean's methods are more ruthless and cold and, less human, which I know sounds weird, but it is. Whereas Flo is like, no, let's do the puzzle. Let's train everyone. Let's give everyone free time as well. Let's not take everything so seriously. Which I understand why Joe was taking everything seriously, because we have to be Herodias. But it's like, you also have to, like, there's more things than just training your stone, right? Like there's more ways to like build your team, make them more confident, make them gel better, other than just like doing reps, right? As like when you learn an instrument, very important to like practice your scales and know all that stuff, right? Know the base knowledge of your instrument, but that's not all you should be doing day in and day out, because eventually you're gonna get bored with it, which is kind of what happens with the team, where they're just like, we don't want to do this anymore. We want to take it to the next level. She never stopped believing in Flo either. It's like the whole time, again, like, not only is Joe trying to prove herself to her teammates, but she's also trying to prove herself to her mom and showing that, like, she's not a kid. She can take care of herself. She knows what to do. And Flo over here is just like, I never said you couldn't. I never said I don't believe in you. I never said you're a bad leader. I never said anything like that. Like, you're the one that's kind of getting inside your own head about all this. The whole time Flo's believed in it the whole time. I think that Joe was mistaking Flo trying to help for Flo thinking that Joe needs help. That Joe can't make her own decisions and she can't make a good plan. It's like, no, it's like, I may not have at the beginning of the season at least, I may not have a ring of power, but I'm still your mom. I'm still part of this team. I'm still part of this family. And like, I want to help. And sometimes, hey, got some good ideas. You know what I mean? And at the very end, like I kind of mentioned earlier, her hospitality rallies all types of beings from all over space. Like Flo is the glue for just all communities, apparently. And with her help, they're able to rally up somewhat of an army to battle Herodias and help defeat Herodias in the end, which is crazy. That's something, again, I wasn't expecting. I love that twist where like the alien is like, wait, Flo? What? From Mo's Oasis? That Flo? And then it starts calling other aliens and they're like, Flo's in danger? We gotta help her. That's so cool. And then finally, let's talk about some season 3 predictions, right? So the PPG, they recruit our team as the global heroes. So let's see what happens there. Let's see how that works out. We've worked with like a government agency type thing before. It didn't work out. And even in the end of the episode, they do mention that. And they're like, no, we're not like that. We're not like that. We're different. We'll see if that actually works out, because you can't trust the government. And then we can see more experimentation with all the stones, because we now have encountered all 13 stones. I didn't think they were going to encounter all 13 stones that quickly. That was pretty shocking, honestly. But now that we have all 13, we kind of know all the 13's powers. It'd be nice to see more experimentation, to see first what each stone can do. It's like the fullest of their ability. But also, if you can like combine certain stones and like have different combos and stuff like that, that would be cool. I don't know if they're gonna touch on that, but that's always a possibility, right? And then I wonder what Joe will look like with this new leadership role, with her, I think, finally realizing, it took her the whole season, but I think she finally realized what kind of leader she wants to be and what kind of leader that she needs to be. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what her new plans are going to be. I can't wait to see, how much more she incorporates the whole team into this. And yeah, like I said, third season is the last season. I'm pretty sure. I keep saying it and I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure there's 3 seasons of Kid Cosmic. So it's like, how is she going to factor into whatever the end is, right? Because how can we possibly get bigger than Herodias? Herodias was a planet that destroyed and ate other planets. You know, like that was the thing. You know, so again, we kind of start to see we end the season with the PPG, the global heroes, all that stuff. But like, what does that mean? You know, are we gonna get bigger than Herodias? Is there gonna be someone bigger and badder that we gotta take out? Is it gonna be just on our own soil? Is it just gonna be like an Earth thing? We'll see. You know, we'll see. I can't imagine them just having like another entity that's bigger than Herodias, because Herodias eats planets. You know what I mean? So like, what would they do? Oh, we eat galaxies. You know what I mean? Like what? Like I feel like that would be kind of lame. So I think they're gonna almost go smaller to go bigger. You know, and like have it just on Earth and have there be something there, rather than there being like a bigger Herodias, basically. But we will see, because that is all I had to talk about today. Please let me know what you thought of Season 2 of Kid Cosmic. I thought it was fantastic. Please let me know what your Season 3 predictions are, because I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it. And, yeah, please go listen to other episodes of this podcast, either on the Tiger T YouTube channel or on your favorite podcast platform of choice. And if you want to check out some other content, I also do some animation reactions. Watch some other cool stuff there, and I also do some gameplay stuff as well, so that's fun. And until next time, watch more cartoons and let me know what other cartoons, anime, movies, all that stuff you want to hear me talk about.